I don't open up, like a therapy office on Instagram. Some people do that. Some people get on Instagram and literally open up like this is their therapy session. I just think it's more to the world. The world is big. So I'm always like, when I see people who are from somewhere else, I want to pick their brain. I want to see what they're doing. That's the whole point of living. Obviously, the whole Diddy thing that's going on right now, stuff like that. And I always knew, like,
Same.
There was always
who on earth who wouldn't know
No.
is how I see it
Yeah,
too. You and
yeah.
I were like looking at
No.
him from the beginning. I'm gonna say though that I still think that I can sense people without being in the room with them.
Oh yeah, sure.
So you were the example.
But other people aren't picking up on all these things that
Yeah,
you and I,
yeah.
these little micro things that we're picking up on. They're not picking up on that stuff.
Yeah.
They're not picking up on body language. They're not picking up on They're not. There's so many things.
I wasted years of therapy. I could have just come on this podcast.
You probably got more info out of celebrities than anyone else.
In my private life, I was living a nightmare.
This was definitely no stock podcast.
I think we ought to do this every week now.
It was a lot. I wasn't getting much sleep. I was really stressing myself out quite a bit.
So
I
you had to
telemarketed.
hit.
Yeah.
You telemarket. Okay.
I telemarketed. I did everything I could. I had so many jobs in LA when I first moved out.
So interesting. So what, you just take one for a small period of time?
Yeah, well,
and then-
telemarketer, they fired me because I missed. I didn't get up. I didn't get up, and I would say I'm notoriously fashionably late, but I just literally overslept because I just was so tired, and I don't know if the alarm went off or whether I hit it or whatever. And the job was like out in Van Nuys or someplace Tarzana, and I was living in like North Hollywood, not close. So when I woke up, it was already time to be there. And this was like the third time. Like, it was one of those things where it's like I woke up, I was like. I surrendered. I was like, okay, well, that's it.
Right.
And then I just took my time and got to work, and I got there. I was like, I know, I'm just as, I know. I'm just here to pick up my check or whatever. I knew. I'd already been warned. I'd already been late, a couple times. It just wasn't working out. And I wasn't making any money there, by the way. I was just calling people and annoying them. I was harassing people. I wasn't making any money.
Right. It's funny because you and I have had a little bit of a similar path. I had a bunch of weird jobs like this too. But it's funny because I was just talking to my son about this morning. He was telling me about something. He works at CVS, part-time job.
Okay.
So, and I did too when I was in high school.
CVS. You gave him a hookup.
That was actually, I didn't.
No.
Oddly, he just
randomly.
30 years later or whatever,
Wow.
ended up doing the same thing. But so CVS was a long gig for me though. But we
Okay.
were just talking, he was telling me a story about he was working last night and he was hearing a story about somebody who worked there and just quit like on the spot, and that was that. And then I remembered that I did something similar, not at CVS,
Okay.
but I did temp jobs. So it's almost like you're saying you did these like labor jobs.
You have skills, so you can type. You have things that they
Yeah,
could use.
I
Yes.
typed all that stuff.
Yeah,
So I would like put my name in for the whatever they needed that day. And one day they sent me to a bank and I worked whatever. I went a few hours and then I went home for lunch and I was like, yeah, I can't go back.
Can't go back. You just didn't come back. Oh, wow.
I called them. I
Okay.
said I'm
Okay,
sick or
so-
whatever it was. In my defense, I was probably 22 or something like that.
Okay, so
I've
that
grown.
reminds me though. Okay, so I did the same thing once too. I had so many jobs. I forget how many jobs I've had. Now this reminds me of another job where I was in LA and I needed a suit. So I had a suit because I just graduated from the conservatory and we needed a suit at some point for some scenes, and I had like 2 suits, maybe 3. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. I'm not sure. One good one. And this job was kind of like, I think it was, you would go to the places and sort of solicit for business. So it was like a sales job. So you'd have to go, and I'm not sure what I was selling. I can't remember. I'm not sure what I was selling.
But whatever.
Who knows what I was selling? Ink cartridges, I'm not sure what I was selling,
Uh-huh.
but nobody wanted it, and I was showing up anyway. And you spend the entire day trying to get a sale, and you get minimum wage, and you pay for your own lunch, and you're driving around your own gas. It's just like one of those jobs. I remember going there, and you just knew, like you said, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I did it for half a day. I don't think I made it at the end of the day. I think I just never went back. I just was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go back. I don't want to get the paperwork. I don't want to
Right.
pick the check. I'm just not going to go back.
Right. I didn't pick up my check either. I'm like, look, I
Yeah.
didn't even ask for the money, whatever.
Exactly.
But like, if we were to start listing, let's start listing our jobs.
Okay.
Shall we? So, okay, I worked at Baskin Robbins. I worked at a flower shop, a ski shop.
Wait a minute. From the beginning. So all jobs from the beginning of time for yourself?
I mean, probably at the beginning of the time I had some whatever, but these are the ones that I'm looking at like a little radius of a couple blocks in the hometown where I grew up.
Okay, if you're counting those, I'm counting
Like,
all those. Okay,
I would go like a day or two, and I'd be like, "This is not for me."
I mean, you're quitting jobs in your hometown. You're just bouncing around. You're a recidivist. You're a serial quitter. What are you? What are you?
My
how long
dad
are you going to be doing
jokes
this?
About it.
How long have you been doing this now?
It's a miracle.
How long have you been doing this?
Since 2017.
Okay, all right.
It's a long time.
I'm concerned. I'm like, are you going to leave midway through? Or are you just going to get up and walk out?
That's exactly.
Because I'm not sure. I'm serious.
You got my number.
Am I going to finish this interview with Oscar? Somebody's back there.
Oscar's back
Oscar's
there.
going to fill in for you. We're going to put your face on the Oscar or something.
It's a miracle that I've gotten to the point where I'm never giving this up, by the way. I'm only building more and more and more. Like I'm on the up.
To be fair,
Yeah.
as we talked when I first arrived, you did say you've moved backdrops.
Oh,
so you
okay,
are
fair.
kind of moving around. So only maybe because you can move this entire operation from time to time will you stay, because if you get tired of this room, you'll just go somewhere else and it'll feel like you quit. That's what it is. You're actually found the right thing. You're quitting, but you're moving your stuff, and it feels like you're quitting, but you're not quitting. You're the same job, just somewhere else. So I assume if I ever did this again, you'd be somewhere else. You wouldn't be here.
You're very good. You
figured it
are
out.
good.
You figured it out accidentally.
So, okay, ready? I'm going to bring in Michael Emerson, whom you know from Evil.
Uh-huh.
So he's been on, I'm going to say 3 or 4 times. And
Okay.
now I'm trying to think to myself, if we've ever done it in the same location,
I don't
we
think
have
so.
it.
I don't think so. You probably did it. You probably did it in New York.
We did it all in New York.
All in New York, okay.
So we did, one was in the Westgate Hotel on like a great terrace overlooking the East River.
Okay.
That was one of them. Another one was at the Rachel Ray show in a dressing room.
I know where that, yeah.
Okay. Another one was outside a little French cafe on the Upper West Side.
Okay.
And then the last one was
on the curb, just on the sidewalk?
at a table.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
sat him down.
Okay.
We sat there, we
Yeah.
put up a camera, and we had a little chat.
Uh-huh.
And then the last time was at a studio in Midtown.
Okay. All right. So, well, look, if I do it again, let's do it in New York, and we'll do it in a cab. And we'll just pay the cab to drive. Keep
That's
driving.
right.
Then
We
we'll
should do that.
Let's do that.
Let's do that next time. We'll do our second.
Now, don't do
talk.
that with anybody else.
There.
You're gonna do that with somebody else. I already know it. That's a good idea.
No, I'm saving that for you.
Okay,
We're driving around a cab.
Okay.
And it has to be a cab. It's on Uber.
Yellow
cab.
They need the business.
That's right.
They need the business.
And we'll go, and we can put the cameras in between the driving.
And then we'll hop out without paying, because that's what we do. No, I'm joking. We won't do that. I'm joking.
I love that idea, actually, because
Yeah.
I do think.
That's New York. That's real New York.
I know. I do love New York. Do you miss it sometimes when you're
I'm
here?
always
But you're
in New
back
York.
and forth, right?
I'm bi-coastal.
So you have both. You have a place both.
Yeah. I was just there a couple weeks ago. I love New York. It took me a while, because my goal was to be bi-coastal, and then that was like an idea in my head, but I didn't understand exactly what that meant, because when you say bi-coastal, you're like, oh, just, you go and you stay as long as you want, and then you go stay and then as long as you want. But then you realize, no, you're actually going when you don't want. Sometimes it's like a week, and then another week, 3 days, a month, 2 weeks. It's not really designed at your whim sometimes, because you have kids. You're kind of going when you need to go, and I love flying, but I mean, I've flown a lot, and I'm sort of like, it's like New York to LA is nothing. It's like easy, but it gets to the point.
Sometimes it feels long.
It depends. Yeah, it depends.
Especially coming out to LA, it's longer.
Yeah, it's longer going that way,
Yeah.
the headwinds or tailwinds, and the other way. Yeah, I mean, I'm used to that, but after, I think because I go to Europe sometimes quite a bit, I feel like, I think I got I have over 1 million miles between 2 airlines, and I started flying when I was 25, so that's not that long to accumulate that much mileage.
Yeah, that's a lot of miles. So are you like the first person on the plane now?
I am a lot, but I got to tell you, it doesn't make sense. The airlines, they really bug me. Anybody who has a brain would let the people in the back get on first, so we can just get them on the plane.
100%.
And also, I'm not rushing to get on the plane. Sometimes I am, but most times I linger. And as long as I have space for my carry-on.
That's the only thing.
Well, okay,
that's the problem.
Okay, so the flight attendants have to be on it, because you have to police that. You can't have people sticking their stuff above your seat. That's not okay. It's not okay.
That is not.
I'm an easygoing guy, but don't start me with the food on the planes, because that's not good enough either for the money. I'm just saying. If there's food,
you mean the quality of the food? Okay.
quality food sucks.
Yeah.
So I've stopped.
Well, yeah.
I've stopped trying. I don't eat on planes. Unless I'm going to Europe, and I'm like, okay, fine. But most times I'm like, I've
Air
eaten
France
it all.
has good food.
It does. So does Korea, Japan, anything Japan. Switzerland sometimes is pretty good. I'll say JetBlue. JetBlue,
Really?
mint class, they do these little. Back when I used to fly all the time, when I first because I was flying so much and I was coming to see my kids in LA, they had a restaurant on Bowery that's no longer there, and I can't remember the name of it. They were kind of catering their food, and so they would have and they still have like 5 choices, like a fish, maybe a vegetarian, and some other options. So there's 5 like small portions that you can select off of their menu, and they're all quite tasty. And they're quite good. Like I would say, Mint. If you're gonna eat on a plane, Mint. JetBlue owes me money for saying that.
Oh, they sure do. We're gonna give them a call before this airs.
That's right. Mosaic, you better look out for me.
So that's interesting. I had fish recently on a plane. It was not a good choice.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was thinking. My husband's looking at me like, really?
No.
You're ordering the fish?
No meat. I still, if I'm gonna eat on the plane, it's pasta. Just pasta.
Yeah, the pasta is definitely the safest bet for sure.
Yeah.
That is the safest bet.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the back of the plane for a second.
Back of the plane.
So
Load them
that
first.
makes sense. That's the only problem is you won't have room. So and also not only back of the plane, but shouldn't we be exiting from 2 jetways?
Sure, and they do it sometimes. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. It's so inconsistent. You don't know. Another thing is stop. Why is there such a hurry to load the plane when there's nothing, like creating this Coke bottle effect on the jet bridge, rushing everyone when we're going to be standing there. Everyone's if you're in business class, they're standing over you, waiting to load. This is not efficient. It is not logical.
It's not.
You load up one zone, wait 3 to 4 minutes, okay? Relax. What's the hurry? These flight attendants act like they have someplace to be. Where are you going? Load up the plane slowly. Then when we get on the plane, we don't have to worry about all this stuff. I don't want to stand up on a jet bridge. That drives me nuts. When you're like 5 zones are on a jet bridge, that's when I'm like, the little part of me is like trying to hold back. I'm trying to like hold back from crashing out because I do not like that. I do not like that.
So to me, it's worse trying to get off the plane and it's just nobody's going
Again,
anywhere.
the other thing is don't stand up. As soon as everyone's unbuckling, everyone's standing up. It's like, calm down.
I know.
Calm down. We're not getting off the plane that fast. Relax.
It's a problem.
And also the other thing is when you're on the plane, if you get on the plane, my thing is I only have carry-ons.
Yeah.
I never check bags. I'm talking about Europe. Doesn't matter.
Same.
You're like that?
Of course.
Oh,
because
of course.
Wow,
you're special.
Well, I told you
You're
3
special.
kids.
Oh, well,
so
okay.
if we're gonna go travel Europe,
They
which
carry
is what we
bag.
did a lot of, it was like everybody gets one
bag.
rollerboard.
Yeah.
And then shoulder
backpack
whatever.
Maybe. Yeah. That makes
and
sense.
that's it. So that's what we always
Smart.
did, and you find a way to make
There are
it work.
people without kids who have to check a bag.
I
It's
know.
insane. I'm not trying to throw any whole gender under the bus, but most women need a whole checked bag. A whole bag. I mean, a big one,
For
not a
their
small
shoes?
one. I don't know what they have in there.
Well, shoes are the problem. I'll tell you, as a woman, that look how big these shoes are.
Yeah, but you
this
only
takes up a
need
half.
one
Yeah,
pair.
but these are not. I couldn't even
couldn't do
bring
that?
these. These are not allowed to travel because
But
they
do you
take
really
up too
need
much
those?
bag.
But do you really need those?
Well, it depends. If I'm filming, I need a few different pairs of
if you're filming.
shoes. Right. So that is, I used to, when I was living in New York and I would come out to LA for a week at a time, I would check a bag because I would put tripods and stuff in
you
it
need
and shoes and because I would
equipment,
need, if I was filming like 2 interviews a day, I would need 8 outfits or something like that. So I had a little extra then. But the shoes are the real problem. And then when you go to cold weather, everything's big.
See, I'm gonna call. I don't know. So maybe it's for you, but some people are not doing. Some people look in that bag. They have about 3/4 of that checked bag. They're not even touching when they get there. They're not wearing. They are indecisive, so they throw all the stuff in.
I get that.
And I'm like, no. This is the time to make a decision. Because when if you fly internationally, if you have global entry, now you just actually get out of the airport right away. Why would you be waiting for a checked bag if you have global entry? What's the point of having it, right?
100%.
That makes no sense. Now you're just like wasting time. So if you make a decision, like 3 or 4 bottoms, whether it's a skirt or pants for men, 3 tops, 4 tops, that's it.
Yeah.
Rotate them. People, you can wash clothes when you get where you're going. People act like you can't wash clothes. You can totally wash clothes. Bring more underwear than you think you're going to need. More
the underwear
socks.
takes up very
That's
little
it.
space, so
no
give me
space.
a break.
And-
Extras.
Extras.
Yeah.
And you can also just wear a pair of pants like 2 or 3 times before you actually need to wash them because nobody sees you. You're not really doing anything. And you don't even need new clothes when you go because they haven't seen the old ones. What is the point of shopping for your trip? no 1-year-old
No, you shop when you are away.
Or
you
that,
bring it back.
but then that
So you
requires
need extra
to have
room.
space. You have to
So
still
you
have
bring
space.
even less.
Yeah, so
that's what
the
I
way
try
I'm
to
doing
do.
it, you're still going to have at least room for at least 2 or 3 items.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
also, if you roll everything, it really does
yeah.
save space and
Roll.
it prevents wrinkles.
Yes, and zip them in little compartments. We could talk about this all day. We could just literally talk about how to pack. What are we going to pack? What are we not going to pack?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, it is a bit of a science, but you learn after you've done it so many times.
Yeah.
But for me, yes, I don't like to, I hate packing because you have to think about all the things. Well, where am I going to be and what am I going to need? It depends on what you're doing when you're leaving. It's a little harder when you're working. Like you want everything to be, you know, you need the things just so.
Well, now that we're talking about it out loud, I'm thinking to myself, now I see why people need assistance or have assistance. Because if you're going to, this is probably this is a major reason to have one. Because if they're good at packing and you trust them to pack for you, that would be kind of cool.
So you don't have an assistant?
I tried. I have one. I have a part-time. I have people that I use, but I don't have a full-time assistant because first of all, I don't want anyone in my business that much. I don't want to be, I feel like an assistant's kind of like a part-time best friend because whether you like it or not, they're always there. They're always agreeing with you mostly. I'm sure that's kind of part of their job to agree with you or to at least encourage you or to be chipper or to be somewhat of a support system. And they are instrumental, integral part of your life. And I think they have to, by default, become somewhat close to you. I mean, how do you have someone around you all this time and not be like really close to them or friends with them? Because
Well, it depends on the person, but yeah,
depends on the person.
Same.
Depends on the person.
Right.
If you're not, then it's going to be really weird. But some people go through multiple assistants. That's true.
Yeah.
I know people who have assistants for years, and I can tell they're like really good friends. But I don't really want to have another friendship or relationship that I'm paying. It just feels weird. So I kind of like to keep a little bit of a distance there. And also, I feel like I have to like make up stuff for them to do all the time. Like I got to keep them busy. And I don't know that I have that much stuff that I really want them to do that I can't do or that I don't enjoy doing. Some of the stuff I enjoy doing myself, Like I feel like I have to get them involved and then eventually I have to get involved anyway because it's like not being done correctly or something.
Yeah.
So it's I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure that out.
I understand that too.
Some people
I felt
share
like that about
assistance is good.
babysitters.
Sharing assistance sometimes some people do that. That's good.
Yeah, that makes more sense. But you have to have enough
For them to do, and it's
Right.
kind of flexible, and
I had something similar with babysitters over the years.
Oh yeah, babysitters. That's easier to do that.
I
Babysitter,
mean-
like babysitter, a couple babysitters, maybe one nanny. I had 2 nannies once. So 2 nannies.
Okay.
Got down to 1 nanny. If you have a babysitter, that helps because they can patch up stuff on the weekends if you need to.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky. Also,
very
like
tricky.
if you're kind of a private person, and I'm not
Yeah.
a private person per se, but I do.
I'm private. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm private. I'm private.
You're private?
Yeah. I
Like
mean, I have
100%?
Instagram, but I don't put anything on there that's that's just. I mean, it's nothing. No one ever. That's not much that can glean from that. Whatever I tell you
I know
on
because
social
I
media.
did my research and I
just-
was like, not much to glean from this. so not really.
No. Yeah, I don't open up, like a therapy office on Instagram. Some people do that. Some people get on Instagram and literally open up like this is their therapy session, and I'm like, no.
So you did have some interesting little takes on things. It's kind of like the plane thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You said something about checking out at hotels.
Oh, hotels. I'm like, what?
yeah.
I'm like, who's not doing this? Who's because I think
Because
it
people
rem-
are not doing it. They're waiting online. You see it.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
So
What are you-
public service announcement for everybody.
Yeah,
You do
just
not
wa-
have to actually wait online to check out of a hotel. You can just leave.
Yeah, and I guess I'm being insensitive to some people who I would call I guess they're price sensitive is what I would call. They're worried that someone's going to overcharge them or something, or they're going to have to dispute some charge. That's what they said.
But you got the
that's
thing
what-
under your door though.
I know, but they go
invoice,
down.
the bill.
I guess they see something on there, or they want to get a printout that's not on the door. I don't know. I still don't think it's a reason to stand in line to check out.
Agree. And I have one thing that I want to tell everybody too.
What?
That when you buy a car
Yeah. Oh yeah.
or lease a car,
Uh-huh.
and now they put these big giant white stickers on the driver's side door window.
Yeah.
You can take that sticker off. You don't have to have a massive sticker on your window. You've never seen this. You're going to notice it now all the time.
And they're driving around?
And they're driving around with big white stickers,
But have
like
they bought the
warning
car?
stickers. Oh, it's not the MSRP sticker. It's like a warning sticker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what it says on it, but it's huge. It's probably, I don't know, what would this be?
On
What
the
would
driver's
this-
side, yeah.
Yes, it's like right there.
And
when
what
you're
is what's
driving.
on it?
I don't know. I don't read it, but I see it and I think to myself,
never-
that's so annoying. You can take it off.
Oh my
Sometimes if
God.
there's a parked
Oh,
car,
but in the windshield.
well,
in the windshield or on the
door,
driver's-
the door,
On the door.
on the door with the window of
Anytime
the door.
I've seen that thing, I assume that the car is still, they don't own it and they're just test driving it or something.
No, I'm telling
Oh
you,
my
you're going to
God.
see so many of
Oh
those
my
now.
God.
And when they're parked, I almost want to do them a favor
my God.
and leave them a note and say,
What?
good news, you are allowed to take the
Those
sticker
people
off
are
the
crazy.
window.
I thought I thought they worked for the car dealership and they were borrowing it or just test driving it. I can't believe you're telling me they bought the car and they're driving with that thing in their window.
That's what I'm telling you. Well, look, when I picked
That's
up my
madness.
last car, I drive a Mini, and when I picked it up, it had that sticker
Mini?
also. Yeah, Mini Cooper.
I know, but those things are mechanically unsound.
What?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Who told you to buy that car?
Me. I was like, this is a
Oh,
cute
of
car.
course.
This
No,
feels like
it's
me.
cute. I know. I like them.
It
but
has
they're
a BMW engine.
Say
Is that
less.
the problem?
No, that's the problem. Yeah, there you go. I'm not trashing BMW
no, good.
because I do have a Mercedes and I
Great,
have
we get JetBlue as a sponsor now,
Listen,
and now we're gonna BMW. We're gonna
Am I
owe them
bashing your
money.
sponsor? You got a sponsor here? No, listen. To be fair, I mean I've driven a lot of different cars and I have multiple cars. I have like a classic and I have like a Tesla. I have a bunch of cars. Not a bunch, but enough where I know different cars and I know what's good.
Yeah.
You should have gotten someone's opinion on that Mini because that Mini, unless they've changed, it's a lease.
It's a lease.
Okay.
And it's my second Mini. I love
Okay,
it.
how long you keep them?
3 years.
Okay, that's why you don't have any problems because you're getting rid of them. As long as you're not buying them, you're fine.
Oh, do they? Oh, it's because
yeah.
Okay, so
And you don't put many miles on them. If you get past 50,000 miles on that car, it's gonna fall apart.
I don't. I don't.
Yeah, you can't. Those cars. No. Yeah, I'm good. As long as you're leasing, you're good.
So that's the only problem is that they fall apart after time. Is what you're
Yeah,
telling me?
there's a lot of. I think it's a timing belt issue or something like that. They're fun cars, but there's a lot of cars, and BMWs inherently. They're problematic once they get higher miles.
Well, that's right. I had a Mercedes once, and it was an older Mercedes. It wasn't one of those old retro ones.
Yeah.
But it was like, like my husband was driving it for a few years, and then I took it over, and I loved it. It was a cute little car,
Yeah.
but it was that kind of thing where at a certain point, it was like going to cost just
Mercedes is
buckets.
a great car, but you have to have the money to repair it.
Right.
And it's not going to be repairs that are major, but all repairs are expensive with Mercedes. I had one, my first car I bought before I moved to LA. It was a used Mercedes. And this was like, it was like a 2000 E-Class or whatever. I got up to 100,000 miles in that car, but that car drove better than new cars still. Great suspension, great handling, felt great, and I just gave it to donated to some place for tax write-off or something like that
nice.
because it's a nice car. I was still
Yeah.
driving for families that needed cars or something like that. It's a great car. But you did need to have the money for it. But that car lasted a long time, and I'm sure if you took care of it, you could get another 100,000 miles out of it.
So that's interesting. Can we
Yeah.
talk about the tax benefit? Because I'm interested in that.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So you took the car, and
Yeah.
instead of selling it or trading it in,
Yeah.
you were like, I'm going to donate this, and it's going to be a tax deductible
Yeah, I think
donation.
I might have donated. I'm plugging people now. I think I might have donated to cars, kids, or something
Oh,
like that.
not that song that gets in your head.
I don't know the song, but I see the
God,
sign.
it's like,
I see the sign. Heck,
1877 cars for
For kids? Oh my God! I don't. It sounds familiar. I don't know. I saw the sign somewhere,
Yeah.
and they would come pick the car up, and that's what made it easy. I was like, you're gonna pick the car up. I thought it would benefit, giving it to something as opposed to a trade in. I didn't really need the trade in. I just felt like I had my nanny driving it for a while, but her car gave her trouble, and then because they have a car. I usually give a car for my nanny to drive my kids in, so. If it's a car that I feel safe, but then she needed a car, so I let her have it for a while, and then when she was done, got a new car, I just gave it to the cars for kids.
Yeah. So you're an interesting person.
Yeah, I'm a weird person. That's I would say.
Why do you say weird?
Because I don't think any of the things that I am or am like usually are predictable based on my appearance.
Okay, go tell me more.
Like I was doing an interview somewhere was recently, and he was talking about my playlist, and I'm like, playlist. I'm like right now I'm heavy into the Strokes. I'm like I love the Strokes, and I'm listening to rock and roll and stuff, and I listen to a lot of music. I'm listening to a lot of hip hop, but old hip hop, not new hip hop, but whatever the stuff they're doing today is kind of. But I listen to soul and funk and jazz and classical music. Listen to all kinds of stuff. Like I have vinyl, and I'll play something and I'll just let it play, but it's active, so you got to go back and flip the record and stuff like that. But I just think I'm like I picked up a hobby. I'm skateboarding now because I've never skateboarded before, and I just decided that it's time to do this because I wanted to since I was a kid and never had the time or the actual smooth road that was necessary. I grew up on a dirt road, so that was not good for skateboarding. Started doing some archery. Started shooting. I started taking billiards lessons and shooting more pool, more consistently. I'm just trying to find hobbies. So I don't think people think this is what I do with my time. I think people probably think I'm doing something else with my time. But I don't,
Yeah. But you have a lot of interests.
Yeah.
Like you're just interested in different things, so
Yeah.
you check them out.
Yeah. I'm interested. People that I like to hang out with, or people that I find intriguing, are people that do stuff that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm intrigued by people. Some people really like being around people who are like them. I don't want to be around people who are like me. I want to be around people who are like themselves. And then I want to figure them out because I know me and I grew up in a certain place. So once I mean, like me hanging around a person around my age who grew up in South Carolina, who was born a certain year. That's me. I don't need to see the food. I don't need to like, boy, that we see. It's fun to be reminded of the stuff that you did and that you're familiar with. But I'm always like, what's new?
Yeah.
If I had to, I would live somewhere else for the rest of my life and then have to figure out all the customs and everything else as I went, because that would be intriguing to me. Not necessarily, it's been great living in America for, some parts of it anyway. And I've had a great time living in New York, a great time living in LA. And I just think it's more to the world. The world is big. So I'm always like, when I see people who are from somewhere else, I'm like, I want to pick their brain. I want to see what they're doing, what they're wearing, what they're eating, what they're listening to. I mean, like that's the whole point of living. I'm like,
life. That's what life is.
Yeah,
It's
otherwise
all
you're an
these layers and
autopilot. You're
colors
an
and
autopilot.
everything. Yeah.
Eating like everyone's like, oh, Chick-fil-A. I'm like, Chick-fil-A? What are you eating that for? Like, what, why are you doing that to yourself? Like,
Yeah, I do know.
So boring. I'm like, what?
It's so boring. That's why it's the same thing with the jobs, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, it's the same. So I understand you.
You have to shake it up. It's like, seriously. That's why this job for me is important, because I get to just play other people. And that's why I don't want to play anybody close to myself. That doesn't excite me. If I find someone, that's why I keep so much stuff to myself, because I don't want people to figure me out, because then they'll try to write or try to I'm just like, no, what is that? Oh, that's interesting to me. Nothing like me. I want to try and figure that out. That's my joy. My joy is finding a character that's not like me, and then I can figure it out.
Right. So do you think? So what do people think? Who do people think you are?
Oh, I think you check the box. They go, okay, he's 6'3", 230. He's a black guy. He's probably athletic. He's probably played sports. If they don't know me, they don't recognize me, they think I'm a former athlete. Well, of course you think I'm a former athlete, because you think everybody my size and height, black guy, should be playing sports. That's just that's their head. And I'm like, I couldn't care less about that. That would be like the opposite of what I would, I don't knock anybody who's doing it, but it's just predictable. It's kind of boring to me. So I always think that, I'm just like, whatever that's interesting or weird or a little like, I want to try that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Like I remember I was in South Carolina. This is 1990. I was dating a girl at the time who took me to her friend's house, and she was making sushi. I had never seen it before. This is growing up in the South. People barbecue.
So you've never seen sushi?
No, this is 1998. This is before sushi took over America.
Right,
this is pre-sushi wave.
Yeah.
Movies weren't, movies, you didn't see people eating sushi in movies. It wasn't like, in movies started to like, everyone was eating sushi everywhere,
Right.
This was like late 90s. And she was making sushi, and I was like, what is that? Raw fish. I'm like, raw fish? Raw? Are you raw? I'm like, no, but I was adventurous. I was like, I'm going to try it, because they had rice around it. I'm like, rice, it was a roll. I'm like, okay, I'll try it. Maki, whatever. I ate it, and I think it was yellowtail. And it was like an epiphany. It was like suddenly, I don't know, suddenly all of the governors and rails of my palate were taken off. All the guardrails were taken off. Suddenly I realized that there are things out there that I haven't eaten that taste really good, splendid, and I am holding myself back because I have this idea about what food is, like everything about food. It's like, oh, you eat your steak this way, you got to eat it well done, and you don't eat this, like tartare, like beef. Now, I'm not saying eat a lot of beef tartare. I'm not saying that, because I'm kind of more vegan leaning now, but there's just so many things you can try that are so delicious, and I had sort of put up a wall. And when I ate that raw fish, I was like, wow, this is insanely good. And people eat this all the time. And suddenly I'm like, another piece. Then I found a place that was making it locally. And I was the only person I knew that was eating. I was trying to find someone to eat with me. I was like taking my friends, and all of them were like, oh, this is disgusting. I'm like, what? So I end up eating theirs and mine, because they were wasting it. They didn't really want to eat it.
Yeah, you got to eat it.
So I'm always just like, oh, this is just like, oh, there's so much to, even like coffee. I remember everyone used to, my professors would go get coffee. And I'm like, why do people get coffee? I wasn't a coffee drinker. I was like, grew up drinking like, I think tea or something. And if people get iced coffee, I'm like, iced coffee? It's weird. Why are you drinking iced coffee? Coffee's supposed to be hot. Why would you drink it? Just little things. You go, no, actually, it's quite tasty and refreshing, iced coffee. And oh, yeah, I guess it is. I never tried it.
It's a mood. It's a vibe.
It's a mood. It's a vibe. I hadn't tried it. And I realized, bagels. I went to college and suddenly it was like, bagels? Who's eating bagels? What is this? Who's having bread for breakfast? Just like these
and
round,
this
biggest
thing
chunk of bread,
yeah.
different flavors, poppy seed, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this seems so bizarre to me that
you didn't
people
have bagels in South Texas.
They did, but when I went to college, that was my first introduction to bagels because, back home, we didn't eat bagels. Like college, I saw people eating bagels and I was like, at first I was like, but then I realized you could toast it. And I was like, oh, you can toast it. Okay, I have toast. I've eaten toast. So I toasted a bagel. I was like, not bad. Oh, different flavors. Put a little butter on it, a little cream cheese. Oh, I can put smoked lox in there. I can put some capers. Oh, I can red onion. That's something. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's interesting. So it's always about discovery for me. So every little thing that I discover for me feels like I'm living life as opposed to just doing what's comfortable. That's
So was this like, did the world open up to you at a certain point, or were you always like this?
Well, no, I was always intrigued about different new people. I was a person who encyclopedia was our social media. Encyclopedia was our World Wide Web when I was growing up. Look at encyclopedia. I was literally like looking and I would just go through the encyclopedia and just read encyclopedia from A to Z and just keep Britannica. That was how I figured some stuff out. But it was really traveling. Once I started traveling, that was really what changed everything.
Okay.
Just traveling.
So when was that?
I first I met my wife 2002. So I started traveling. Went to my first trip on a plane to Europe was 2002, and and that was just eye-opening. I think it's always good to travel because what happens is, no matter what you heard about a place, you have to be there because then you can stop thinking about what they've told you and just experience it for yourself and see how it makes you feel. Because I think sometimes, if they scare you, everything's kind of frightening. I think most of our news and most of our journalism here is meant to make us look better than everyone else and make it seem like where we are is the best place and every other place is not as good. And you should stay away from those places because God forbid, this is not good and this is why. And they always focus on that. And I realized that that's not true. And I realized that, that there's so much to see and it's not centered on us or on our culture or us as people, and that I think globally that we as people aren't that important, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think we force our opinions and we force ourselves on the world, and the world is sort of unlike us or people in our country. Sometimes they're not thinking about us; they're thinking about themselves in a we sort of like it's like a we thing. It feels like we, meaning the country, me, sometimes the people, the way we've been brought up in this country, it feels like we are constantly thinking about how we feel, and how we feel is important, and it's important enough to make sure that other people know how we feel and they should feel the same way. And if they don't feel the same way, we have to figure out why they don't feel the same way, and we have to see sort of make them feel the same way, or otherwise they're sort of they're not relevant. And I feel like it's so heavy-handed. I've never seen, when I go other places, they're not preoccupied about stuff like that. They're sort of living their lives.
They're being.
They're being. We're not in this country. We're seldom being. We're constantly doing something. We're constantly putting something on someone else. We are constantly actively doing something that takes a lot of energy, but it also is repressive, and it also keeps you from actually discovering change within yourself, like progress. Because I think it's almost like you said, you're a therapist, right? It'd be like if you're a therapist and you know all the answers there in a book, right? And the person sits there and you're constantly giving them answers, but you never let them go outside to actually experience life. And also you yourself may not even actually apply any of this stuff to yourself because you're just so happy to tell them how to live their lives. And so it's the application of it necessarily may be lost on you because you haven't actually applied it, and it just becomes a lot of work and you're missing out on life. Sometimes you just have to go out and just live and be. And I don't think we're very good at just being in this country.
To be clear, that is not at all the kind of therapist I am.
I'm not saying that.
To be clear, because
it was an analogy.
I know.
It was a very broad analogy.
But 100%. But I also, in terms of learning as a therapist, which is a different topic, but we're good at changing quickly from one to another.
No, we ping pong. We can ping pong.
It's good. So, but like in grad school, it's not really where I learned how to be a therapist. Like most of what I do in my therapy sessions comes from my life.
Well, that's what I mean.
And the books I read and the experiences I have and the people I meet and all the things that I
was giving you a
see.
bad example. That's what I was saying.
Right. I know you're just looking for a way to say you're a good therapist. I know.
No, I was giving you the bad example, so I knew you were not like that. I knew you were not like that.
But it's so interesting because it is about that, and it's also making me think of. I was watching this movie last night. It was the Julia Roberts movie that was just at all the film festivals.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
After the Hunt, it's called.
Oh okay, yeah, I've seen advertisements for it. Okay.
So I'm not going to talk about it if you haven't seen it. Probably most people haven't either. I'll just say that like one of the lines was, life isn't necessarily about being comfortable all the time, and that is a true thing. Like you do want to be uncomfortable. You gain something big from it, and like when you're talking about traveling and putting yourself in these different spaces, you are totally out of your comfort zone, and you grow so much with that experience, which is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you feel this is really truly how I feel like you stay young. If you're constantly stimulating yourself with some new experience, you feel like you're just getting started every day. Every day, I think people say, some people you meet sometimes they just have this sort of like, this fatalistic sort of approach to life. It's like, I don't really want to be here anymore. It's like, I'm not talking about older people. There are people who are kind of like that and who are young. They just haven't figured out the key to life. And I'm not saying I have the key to life, but there has to be something where you find something, you say, what's worth living for, right? And it can be something small, but if I'm going to give them any advice, I'm like, I don't know, like even if you can't figure out who, what, where, occupation, just change scenery. Try that. Like try to change. And I know it's hard because like everybody can't travel, but you can also reach out because a lot of times I just meet people. When I was in college, that was great because I just met people who were from someplace else, and that was very stimulating. So I didn't have to go there. But I'm around somebody who's from Ethiopia now. I'm like, this is crazy. This is interesting. Oh, you're from where? Oh, you're from Paris. I want to go to Paris. Tell me about Paris. Oh, you're rolling. I remember these girls. I met them. They were rolling their cigarettes. Rolling little fags. That's what they call them. That's what they call them. That's not what it's not the derogatory term. They're calling them little fags. So they're rolling their little cigarettes. And in this college, I smoked. So I thought, that's cool. Can I have one? So I smoked one of those. And then I caught myself, I'm buying the tobacco to roll. And it's just like, and now we're talking and they're telling me about Paris and they're telling me about their culture. And I'm just like, that to me is what life is. Like, I want to, that's why I found Anthony Bourdain's job so interesting. What a job. I mean, my God, I really enjoyed his show and I enjoyed his books and I read quite a bit of his books. And I thought, man, eating great food, cuisine, trying new foods, and also listening to people tell you what their life is.
And travel. It's the three ingredients.
You can't,
I know.
You wouldn't have to pay me to do that. I think I wouldn't want to. I would do that. That would be, that's insane.
You are, I know I said it before, but you're super interesting. So have you always been like this? Like where are you in your family? I'm
the baby.
You're the baby. So what was your role?
Well, I'll be honest, and I say this. I mean, I say this with a bit of humor. I mean, I was the accident. I was like the baby. I was like, my mother was 36 when she had me, and that was older back then. Then, so everybody was having kids with 20-something, early 20s. I say that because I don't think I was planned, but I definitely was loved, and it took me a while to realize that. A lot of the times that the life that my parents were leading in terms of like working and keeping food on the table and providing for us, it was, just one of those things where a lot of times I was like, left to my own devices because there was, I didn't have a nanny. I didn't have like a babysitter. Just like back in the day, you leave your home.
Yeah.
That's what it was. 10 years old, lock that door, don't answer the phone. Somebody knocks, you call me, the deal. Illegal now to maybe not illegal, but frowned upon.
Depends on your
frowned
age.
upon.
Depends on the age.
Yeah, I think 12 or something like 13. I'm not sure the age now.
Way older than when
way
we were
older. I think I might
growing
have been 8. I might be.
Please, I think I walked a mile to elementary school when I was in like first grade.
Yeah.
I would pick up my neighbor friend on the way who was also in first grade.
Back then it was a different time. People, kids disappeared. You never know. I mean, you were just like.
But okay, because back to so you would be home.
So
alone.
I'd be home, and I think for me, I think it's definitely. Something was for me. I was like looking at my surroundings, and I was always thinking like, I don't belong here. Like this is like not because it wasn't where I belong, but I always thought like I definitely have to get out of the small town because I have to see what else is out there. Like I was like that was my plan. My plan was always gotta get out of high school. And then college is going to be an opportunity to get a little ways from home, and then I'll figure it out. But it was always steps. And so when I met people who had been somewhere else other than there, I was always like, where you from? How did you get here? And I was always like, that was me. I was always like, oh, you're from where? And I was always thinking of how I was going to get there if I could figure out how I could get some information from them. So I was piecing together my escape route. And every counselor that I talked to in high school, I wasn't a great student because I knew I wanted to be an actor since I was 8. But I knew I wanted to be an adult actor, not a kid actor, because I knew it was like, I don't want to like try to be an actor now. I just want to get out, go to college, train, and then I'll figure it out. But I need to those are the steps. So I was like, oh, okay. So I was always dreaming about what I was going to do when I got older. And I try to tell my kids this, like when you're a kid, you think everything is so important. I keep telling my girls, this is not that important. All the stuff at school that you're dealing with is not that important. You won't even remember these people in 15 years. You don't have to worry. These people, you don't want to peak in school. You want to. Life is way better afterwards. I keep reinforcing. Yeah. You don't have to worry about trying to fit in. You don't have to worry about that person who doesn't like you. You don't need best friends. You can just have people and come and go. I try to make it loose and easy because it's so much tension and like, oh, I have to be liked and I want to have friends and I say if they don't like you, it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. You're different. You don't have to worry about trying to be like them. So that's how I was. I was always like I had a good friend in this class for 1 year, and then the next year I'd have another friend. And then sometimes I would keep that friend, and sometimes I would have another bestie, I guess. I never really had best friends. And then I would have another friend, and sometimes it overlapped, but they were all from different walks of life. Like one would be a band member, the other person plays football, the other person is in ROTC, the other person's in my acting drama class that I started. I just had friends from different places, and I've always been that way. I've never really been like, these are my people. This is who I hang out with. This is the demographic. I'm always looking for people that have something intrinsically similar to me that I'm looking for. That's curiosity and acceptance, and then whatever they do for a living is irrelevant. I just need to, it needs to be a vibe.
Yeah. I hear you. Do you have siblings?
I have 3, all of them older.
So a lot older.
Yeah. Well, everyone's 8 years my brother's 8 years older than me, and then my older sister is 14 years older than me.
And what's your relationship like with them?
My sisters are very protective of me. I think they've always been really sweet and kind. As much as my second oldest sister, we used to fight a little bit, and then when I left the house, we became much closer. My brother, he and I. We're pretty close. We talk enough. We're kind of complete opposites. He was a Secret Service agent, military, that kind of stuff. Complete opposite of me. I not in that. I pretended for a while. I did ROTC, little Army Reserves, but I never kept going. It was just something. It was a nice character to play. It was a character. Yeah, that's so. I was like, oh, this is fun. I'm watching everybody else and going, oh, you're doing push-ups and stuff. It's like, oh, right. It's like grew up watching military movies. Like, oh yeah, Platoon, Full Metal Jacket. I'm like, I want to play soldier for a bit. I want to play soldier. That's what I found myself doing. I'd pretend to do something for a while.
Yeah, and it's very cool to be able to try on all these hats and then you just throw them out when you're done. You're like, okay, I did that. I'm not that person anymore.
They tried to send me to war, and I guess when it's like, okay, absolutely not. Time to wait.
Right. How long was that? Were you doing that for?
They tried. Well, this was back when I think Desert Storm. But they had a Desert Storm. That was back then, and I was just going to school, getting ready to start college, and I was like, I'm going to be an actor. There's no way I'm going to be an actor in the Army. I'm sure one of my favorite heroes is Jimmy Stewart. Things can happen. You can find your way back around, but I had no interest in wanting to go abroad and do that. So luckily, I was able to, figure it out.
So let's plug the new Jimmy Stewart movie. It's coming. I think the trailer just dropped.
What?
It's my friend Andre's movie. He was working on it.
Jimmy Stewart, like a documentary.
No, a movie, like what do you call it? Like a biopic or something like that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's coming. Who knows when it's coming out? But I saw he just dropped the trailer a few days ago.
I love documentaries. I watch documentaries all the time.
I don't think it's a doco. I think it's like a
biopic.
A biopic. Well, wait, is a biopic not a doc?
Well,
right?
no, but someone's playing Jimmy Stewart?
Yeah, I think somebody's playing Jimmy Stewart.
Who's playing Jimmy Stewart?
I want to say the kid
someone's
from
playing Jimmy Stewart?
I don't know. I think he was from like that. What is that Archie show? The Archie comics show?
Oh, okay.
Riverdale?
Yeah, Riverdale. Okay, I didn't see that.
I think it's the kid from Riverdale.
But they're playing. Oh wow.
I don't know. My facts may be totally wrong.
I hope you're wrong. I hope it's docuseries. I don't want anybody to play Jimmy Stewart.
I hear you.
That's
you.
weird.
I know. Well, there was like a Cary Grant one too, and
I
it
don't
was
want to
really
see.
disturbing.
Oh well, no. You know what? Okay, I think that was Jason Isaacs. Was that? No.
No, I don't think. Was it Jason Isaacs? Because I really like Jason.
I like Jason Isaacs too. It was somebody I know. Was it Jason Isaacs?
No, it wasn't. There was somebody else.
There was
may have
someone
been a
else.
couple.
Okay, yeah, it might have been a couple, but
I know.
I'm a
it's
little
not
more.
right.
I'm a
It's
little
not
less
right.
protective over Jimmy Stewart.
Why
I just
Jimmy
don't know.
Stewart?
Well, because he's just like. I don't think he gets enough credit. I know he's this guy. Like people, Jimmy Stewart. I mean, some people don't even know who Jimmy Stewart is. That's the world we're in right now. I said Robert Redford to someone the other day, and I was at school with my kids, and this woman is not that young. She's young, but I mean, she didn't know who Robert Redford was.
Was she a mother?
She was a mother.
Oh, no. You have to know Robert Redford.
I mean, she was probably in her 30s. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah,
I
but in your 30s, you need to know Robert Redford.
I need to. I don't know, but I definitely thought it was like, really?
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was like, it's okay, fine. It's fine. I'm not going to, it's like, I'm sure there are people who created something in science that I should know. So I'm not going to, not going to hold on to it.
Okay, but we need to educate our kids. Let's just put that also public service announcement.
Well, you got to expose them to,
That's what I mean.
to stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know there's a Robert Redford movie that they need to see right now because it's not really appropriate. I mean, obviously there are things that I would love to expose them to that they're just not ready for. But Jimmy Stewart holds a special place in my heart because, It's a Wonderful Life is like my favorite movie of all time.
Really?
One of my top,
Okay.
one of my, and Spielberg said the same thing.
Ah.
Yes, he was on not Conan O'Brien. He was on Colbert.
Okay.
And he was doing an interview, and he asked him something about if aliens came down and you had to find a film that would sort of explain mankind. And the whole time he was thinking about it, I was like, oh, boy, please say It's a Wonderful Life. And he did. He came to that conclusion that was probably the most accurate, because it's just, and it gets me every time, makes me cry every time. One of my favorite movies. And he's one of my favorite actors. I just thought that he was sort of one of those people that he just was, and he didn't really, I think he was doing what they call realism before most people were like, everyone's like Brando, but he was sort of doing that thing in a very subtle way before. Like he was pre-Brando. He was really in his really sweet spot of just like not caring about how it came across and just being honest. Because in our business, there's a certain bravado sometimes with performances. And I think that there's levels of acting. I'm not talking about like whether you're a good actor or a great actor. It comes down to your performance in the sense that how you want to come across. And some people, they have that larger than life presence, and they amp up things, so everything is dramatic. When they go dramatic, they go real dramatic. And I think sometimes his level of intensity was always sort of understated because it was always grounded and it wasn't showy. Mm-hmm. And I think he was always sort of just like, I don't know, and he's also wasn't those, I think we talk about matinee idols where it's like, oh, he's just like.
I don't think he counts as,
no.
He probably is lumped in.
No, he's not. I don't think he is.
Oh, you
I
don't think so?
I don't think so. I think he sort of is, but I don't think he was ever that. He was not a Cary Grant, Robert Redford. He wasn't those guys. He was sort of like, I guess Tom Hanks would be our closest thing, just sort of like that kind of everyman.
Yeah.
But he was just like, some of his films, I'm a really big fan of Jimmy Stewart. So when someone says they're going to do a biopic, like I don't fanboy over people a lot. I think Jim Carrey said he met him before he passed away, and he had a sort of not so great experience. But also,
really?
But he was also really like amped up. He said I was so like energetic. Like
so
he overwhelmed.
like,
yeah, he probably overwhelmed him.
Yeah.
And when you're Jimmy Stewart, you're up in your 80s, and he's probably like, who is this kid?
Yeah.
And so I can sort of understand that and forgive him. So I'm not holding anything. But I think that I think Jimmy Stewart sort of has this. He just has this where if someone said something really bad about him in person, like they said, oh, in life, I'd be like, oh, it really hurt. It would hurt. Like I would be like, oh, not Jimmy. Like
I don't think that would be. I think we can tell. I think I can tell. How about that? I
feel
like I have a
you think you can read behind?
I can read behind. I'm telling you, I have an intuition about people.
Me too. No, I do too.
When
were you
born? Out to you.
When were you born?
Where?
When were you? What's month? What's your
March?
Month? Okay, March. What's your sign?
Aries, but I was late.
Aries.
Yeah.
Aries.
Yeah. What do I seem?
No. I don't know. You seem. I only know a handful of by experience. I only know a handful of signs in terms of because I don't have that many people in my inner circle. So that's interesting. That's okay, cool. That I've gotten along with some Aries before. That's okay.
Oh, so you don't usually?
No, I just don't know enough of them. So when I see someone, I'm trying to collect.
You should be curious then.
I am very curious. I'm very curious.
What can I teach you about the Aries?
Well, listen, we got to talk because I need to know more.
Yeah. I bet that's exactly.
Because I think I can do this too. I read people really well, and I get tired of people who can't read people. I need to meet them though. I can't read by interviews. Interviews don't give you like if I see someone on screen in an interview.
My interviews do.
Your interviews are much more relaxed and less form. So if someone's watching your interview and they're intuitive like us,
they're gonna know you from this.
Yeah.
They're gonna know you.
They're gonna think they know me.
Do I know you?
Well, you do, but you're in the room with me.
Okay.
See, to be outside, to be somewhere else, there's an energy that has to be exchanged.
Yeah.
So you're in the room, and that's necessary to know a person really, because I think sometimes people don't get like there's a vibe and there's an energy.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like I'll be honest, like obviously Diddy, the whole Diddy thing that's going on right now, stuff like that, and I always knew like
same.
There
Who
on
earth wouldn't know is how I see it too. You and I were like looking at him from the beginning.
There
like,
was no,
no
and I
way.
think people they get overwhelmed with fame. I do not. I don't worship any man's altar. I can appreciate, except Jimmy's, But
you can appreciate.
I can appreciate. No, it's true. I can appreciate the art and still separate the person and understand what I'm dealing with. Because I appreciate your art doesn't mean I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do, or do I want to spend time with you? I can literally meet someone who I can be a great admirer of their work and do not want to spend any time with that person in real life. And it can take me about 20 seconds to figure that out, if that.
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter. Like
I know.
And the vibe, it just happens. And when it happens, I don't fight it. And the more they try to convince me to hang out with them, the less I do want to hang out with them. Once I got an energy vibe thing, I just know it's easy.
Right.
People ignore stuff all the time. Like, how did you do that?
But that's what it is because we are. I think people do see. They can see.
They do.
Like what this intuition is, because I feel I'm very intuitive like you, but it really is experience that you've taken in, and there are things that and you paid attention to that you're picking up on. It's not really some mysterious thing.
It's not that hard.
It's like science.
It's not hard. It's like sitting there with your mouth dry and you're sort of like doing this. You're thirsty. You need water. And so some people are like, I don't know why. You need water.
Right.
You need water. Oh, I'm so tired. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Did you sleep last night? No, not much. You need to sleep more. Like people just ask questions. Sometimes they literally is as simple as that. They don't do the things that they need to do to correct the small things. So it becomes like a bigger thing. So everything becomes about this doesn't mean anything because you're not paying attention to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like the person walks out the door and they let the door swing in your face.
Yes.
It's a small thing.
Yeah. That's annoying. It's like but it's a lack
of
awareness of other people.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm blown away by how people are not paying attention.
Yeah.
It's like obviously the easy, the
Absolutely.
low-hanging fruit is the person on a phone call in the middle of a public space.
Yes.
That you're like,
speaker.
Come on. We don't need to hear that. That's obvious.
Yeah.
But like there are other things too of like, how are you?
How you treat the waiter. Watch the waiter. Watch how I do the waiter.
Yes.
Just the waiters. Watch how they interact with the waiter. That's going to give you
100%.
something. Not
And
all
then-
of it, but some.
Yeah. How about like when you're walking in the street in New York and there's a group of people that just stop to chat with each other right in the middle of the sidewalk?
Yeah.
There's just a lack of awareness.
Or watch how they walk on the sidewalk, and when they come in contact with another person, whether they give space or whether they try to take up space, how they interact when they're passing someone. Do they think they own the sidewalk? The entitlement. Someone was saying, a famous person too, I don't remember the interview, I don't think I read this. They said, well, because I always say, well, people go, well, they were nice to me, they were kind to me. I mean, if someone asks me how a person was, how they treated me is not really going to be enough for me to tell you how they were, because we all know people treat some people differently than others based off of what you mean to them. So I'm not going to use my own experience with the person to dictate how that person is. That I can't use it. That's not how I'm going to judge it. So when someone says how a person is, I go, I don't think about how they treated me. I'm looking at how they treated their assistant, how they treated the valet. I'm looking at everything but me. I mean, obviously, if he treats me a certain way, that's going to jump out. But I can't use that as the example of how a person really is.
Yeah.
And some person said the other day, it's like, they literally said, I judge people how they treat me. And I'm like, how they treat you? I was like, I was floored by that. I was like, wow, you're so vapid, so self-centered. Like, wow. I know people who are like this, but to hear someone say it out loud as if that is I thought that they should have kept that to themselves. Like, oh yeah, I judge people how they treat me.
That's
like,
a misstep right there.
Whoa.
Right.
Really? Tell me more. Tell me more. I want to know more about you. So, because this is probably going to be the last time we hang out.
Right.
But
So
tell
let me
me
learn
more.
everything
Let me
right
learn
now,
everything I need to know
so I
about
can
you.
just clock
I
that
write.
and move
Yeah, I write
on.
people off all the time. People I know people. I meet them and then I know I'm never going to spend any time with them again.
Yeah.
I know.
So, but is that instantly when you first meet them, or is it like after?
It doesn't take that long. Like, it's just like, it's one of those things. If you have lunch, by the time you know whether you're ever going to see that person again. Whether some people I hang out with and I want to see them again. I think they're great people. Just, you're busy. We never.
Yeah.
But other people, it's like, I'm going to try my best to never see this person again. I will avoid them at all costs. I will try to make excuse, like whatever. You just know, like, no. This is not good for me.
Yeah.
No, this is too much or whatever. This is, yeah. You know what I mean? You know.
I do know.
There's so many reasons why.
There are so many. There's so many reasons, and there's so many things to pick up on. But like, I'm gonna say though that I still think that I can sense people without being in the room with them.
Oh yeah, sure.
So you were the example.
But we are exceptionally good at this. I think other people at least need to be in the room because they're so bad. You have to be another level to pick it up from. You know what I mean? We're talking about, again, it's us, but in general, you should be in the room because other people aren't picking up on all these things that you and I, these little micro things that we're picking up on. They're not picking up on that stuff.
Yeah.
They're not picking up on body language. They're not picking up on there's so many things.
And I don't always know when I'm picking. I can't always identify, I'm seeing them, their body language or folding their arms or whatever. Like, it's not that. It's like, I just can take it all in and I'm reading it.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when I don't get a take on a person immediately. You know what I don't do that for is like in therapy. That's my exception. I'm just realizing now as we're talking is I'm like, who is this person in front of me?
Well, see, that's great because the people in therapy, they're not actually presenting themselves. So it's like a relationship. That's not them. The first therapy session is probably not. I've gone to therapy, and over the years, I've probably had 4 or 5 therapists, and not because I changed therapists a lot, because I like to, if I have a therapist, I like to spend a certain amount of time, gain some tools, and then try to use those and apply. I think sometimes people get so comfortable in therapy, they just like to go. It's like confessional. I go, I vent, I go back out, I do the same thing. I go, I vent, I repeat myself. I try to get the stuff.
Yes.
Figure out what they're the tools, and then I try to go use those because they're not going to be with me. I can't. It's not like like an AA calling my sponsor. I'm just living my life, and I want to be able to identify some things. So I change therapists a little bit here and there because maybe also the availability. Sometimes I'm busy and I'd like to take a break. Sometimes I'm somewhere, and for many reasons. But I think the person I'm presenting, I'll be honest, the person I'm presenting in the room, that's not me the first day. I'm still trying to figure out how much I want to let them in. Trying to figure out how much I want to divulge. What problems do I want to work on, and where am I? Because that's really what it is. Because I gotta trust them. I'm not gonna just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Got to figure them out. So that it's like a date. So you're not getting that person. You're getting their representative for a while.
Right.
So that's why it's hard to get a read because they're closed off. Whether their body languages, is that or not.
Yeah.
They may be talking a lot, but they're giving you stuff that they want you to know, not the stuff they don't want you to know.
Yeah, but I'm also seeing things that they're not saying.
Of course.
Of course. But also, like, I feel like everybody is in therapy specifically. They're a puzzle.
Yeah, of course.
So they come in and it's like piece by piece is when I start to see, I see what's going on here. And then I can bring that to them and show them the piece of the puzzle, which is fun.
And then they'll go, aha.
Yes.
But that's the thing about it. So they're throwing stuff at you. So you're, as a therapist, when I watch therapists work and I'm watching them sometimes with other people and I'm just listening to them watch shows, they're listening and they're trying, and it's almost like they're throwing a bunch of stuff at you, and you're just like, okay, and then something very useful, and you grab it.
Yep.
But there's a lot of information,
Yes.
so you're like grabbing that, and grabbing that, and those things are useful, and you'll get a chance to maybe use them later, maybe not in this session. But so there's a lot of talking if you're lucky, because the more they talk, the more you learn, and in that talking, it takes a long time to sometimes figure out what to now apply to the problem, because it takes a long time for them to to really say the things that are really bothering them sometimes. Sometimes they're just, they're saying stuff, but it's like they're not being honest. Honesty is like honesty, like real honesty. Sometimes they don't say it. There were times in sessions where I said to myself, like, I don't want to say
Not
that.
saying this.
I don't say that.
Right.
Because then,
Yeah, but it's not only what you say, it's what happens in your life that shows that's some info right there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, that's what, okay, so this is how you're reacting to this thing, or this is the pattern that I see.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm all about connecting the dots and seeing patterns and saying, why would this pattern be, why is this existing?
Yeah.
Oh, it developed somewhere. Where? And then it's like, oh, I see. It was developed here as an attempt to A, B, or C. But now it's giving D and it's failing you.
Yeah.
So it's very. You would be a good therapist.
I think I would. But I
don't give that out easily.
No, I know. But listen, I have thought of things that I could be doing with my life that would be interesting as well. And I've known therapists over the years personally. That's what their occupation was, and it is one of those things that I thought for my own, for me as a person, I could find myself interested in that because I get to find out about people. Yeah, because that's really what it is. It's fascinating. Like so I could be very stimulated by that. Yeah, except for the room, same place, but we can change rooms.
That's the problem.
I'd be a mobile therapist,
Yeah. Right. Right. There are also like walk and talks.
Because I think I had to get out of the room.
Or in a cab.
Yeah, I'd have to go to the park.
Right,
my therapy sessions would have to be, we'd walk and talk a bit. Because I think it would relax them too. Maybe go somewhere. I would have to change it a bit, but I think I could do it.
Yeah. So maybe someday I'll give you the tips, and you could become the mobile therapist.
Listen, there's a lot of hack therapists out there. People call I won't say I'm not bashing anybody, but there's some life coaches out there that I think that are not necessarily qualified to be doing any helping for anyone, but people turn to them.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think that actually there may be a bit of like a racket in the coaching thing.
Yeah.
And like there's this coaching thing where you become a coach and then you try to get other coaches underneath you to buy your like education.
Sure.
Become a coach.
Sure.
And then they sell this like coaching education to people who buy in, and there are a million coaches, and who even knows if they can coach. I mean, a lot of my therapy is coaching. Like I do feel like I do a lot of coaching because you want to use the things.
I will coach people in my life who I know personally, but it's so few and far between because I do not have the time. Because what I don't want to do is here's the thing: you meet people who want to be mentored, and that is a big undertaking because then it's like
people ask you to do that?
I've been asked before.
Oh, a lot.
Enough where I mean I think I would be a good mentor, but I'm also very like, but that's not what I do, and so I have very little patience. So my thing is like, I'll help you, but then you have to take what I told you and use it. I'm not going to repeat myself over and over. I'm not that person like, have you done this? Oh, I can't. Life is too short. So if I've said, I did this one time. There's this wonderful woman who has a program. She was asking me to help, be one of the mentors that would be available to artists who wanted to learn about certain things. And I said, sure, reluctantly, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be any good at this. And I did it for a little while. And I remember the person, I feel like I'm just too matter of fact. I'm very matter of fact. I'm very like, this is what it is, and you have to do this, and then you see how it works. But I'm always setting expectations, being realistic expectations for people. And I just remember there being a stagnation. There's a stagnancy, and it wasn't her fault necessarily. But I don't know how to help people that don't take the steps that I told them. Like if I told you to go do something and you didn't do it, and you come back and then you're still in the same place that you were when we talked the last time. Then now I don't know what to do with you because you didn't listen to me the last time. So now I'm starting there again. It's like, okay. It's like if I was a personal trainer, which is another great analogy. I did that for a little while because I needed some money. I need some money. It was just in college. I was literally just needed some money. And I was like, all right, I know a little bit about it. I'll help you guys out. And actually I did it recently for my nanny. Anyway, I'm going to say that. But anyway, I help people out. First thing I tell them is like, well, 90% of it is your diet. And so if you can't get past that, I can't keep doing this with you. Like I can't keep watching you come in here, do the same things, but without any results because you're going home and you're undermining the entire thing by And then you're lying to me. You're telling me, I'm like, people, I'm like, you just can't, you don't stay the same size if you cut the calories. If you did what I told you to do. And so I just cannot. I have no patience for it. I have no patience for it whatsoever. I just cannot.
You're moving fast, too.
I'm moving fast. I'm like, I'm on chapter 3 and you're still on chapter 1.
Yeah, I getcha.
I told you no sodas in the house. I told you no snacks, like no chips. Like, it's just simple. I haven't had a soda in 20-something years. I just don't drink sodas. I just don't. I don't, because it's a waste of my time.
Right.
It's a fluid that doesn't give me any, it doesn't quench my thirst. It's bad for me. It doesn't taste that good. I don't know why. If I'm going to drink something, I'd rather drink alcohol. If I'm going to have a drink, let me have a drink. What's the soda thing? Fish will die in it. Who's drinking soda?
I don't know who's drinking soda. I don't get it. Why is it the whole thing is like everybody has to cut out soda? Who's even drinking soda? Why? It doesn't taste good.
It's easy.
I'm with you.
It's soda. It's chips.
Yeah.
2 things. Bam, bam, done.
But you can water. Water is everything. Or
that's it.
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee.
It's
or
a vibe.
Tea, yeah.
All right, so we're running out of time. I know you have to go let the nanny go.
Well, no, I think, I think, I don't know my phone.
It's 2:25.
2:25.
And I told you we'd be wrapped by 2:30.
Okay, 10,
so,
like 10, yeah.
You're
okay,
good?
Yeah. We'll wrap. We can wrap it up.
Okay, so I realized also we didn't talk about your wife, who's also probably fascinating, right? Is she a very interesting person?
Yeah, she's smart. She's got a doctorate in comparative literature, worked for Netflix for 10 years. She did a little training back in the day when she was trying to make ends meet. Comparative literature, she worked for Netflix. She's working for another studio now, Upstart Studio, and also running the hair care line that my kids have. So she's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so and then your kids, your 2 daughters.
Yeah, 2 daughters.
And you have them on Instagram, and you have
reluctantly. I never thought I'd have my kids on Instagram. It's the most weird thing for me, and I still struggle with it. I was so I'm still against it, but I realize, well, they don't have a social media thing for themselves, right? They have no phones, and they probably won't have any for a very long time. But in the world, in the way in which we're moving today, when I'm looking at it, big picture, and I'm looking at how education is not really going to do what we think it's going to do because of the jobs and the things that people had to look forward to when I was growing up. And I'm thinking about social media. I'm thinking about how people will live their lives. I guess starting a company that maybe, if it's successful enough, they can actually run and work at, that's giving them empowerment and also autonomy, would not be a bad thing. And if it requires them to be the face of their own brand, then I guess it's worth it. I don't know. That's my theory on it, because everybody's trying to figure out what their kids are going to do, and especially in our business. Like, if you're successful at all, God forbid your kid wants to be an actor, because you don't want them to do that. You want them to do something else. And I want to give them a future. And I don't know where their interests are going to be. And in 10 years, I don't know where the planet's going to be. I don't know anything. So I'm just sort of checking a box of, like, I don't want to have any regrets about that. So I allow this to happen. And so they have their own hair care line, and we're supporting it. And I'm hoping that, they'll continue with it, but they have the rest of their lives to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah. Well, look, it's an experience.
It's an experience.
And like they're already learning about something that
business
they wouldn't
acumen,
otherwise.
yeah.
I'm into business. I have to say, I'm getting more and more into it, like as I go on in life. And I also realized, looking back, part of this, I'm an entrepreneur. I never knew it. I was raised by educators who did not run businesses or anything like that. Yeah. And I was kind of like growing up an entrepreneur. And the older I get, the more I realize that this business stuff is really fun. Yeah. And like changing around from this to this to this is also part of that whole thing. But that's another topic.
No,
for
I
another
know.
So maybe we'll do the cab episode.
The cab
and we'll talk about all the other things that we didn't fully get to.
Exactly.
Today.
We have it's like a 10-part miniseries, yeah.
Yeah, 10-part miniseries. I like it. Did I forget anything else?
No, I think we covered everything except, global warming, but we'll figure that out next time.
And we also didn't even mention Luke Cage.
Oh, there's nothing to talk about. There's so people ask about that all the time. I mean, at some point maybe I'm going to pop back up, but we'll talk about that if I come back. If I come back, if Cage comes back, we'll talk about it. We have time.
Yeah. Okay. And anything else? Oh, so name your hair care line.
Oh, Niles and Chaz.
Okay. And where can everybody get it?
Niles and Chaz, just how it sounds. CHAZ. NilesandChaz.com. We have our own website, D2C, so you can order directly from the website. And we're also available on Amazon if you're so lazy and you just want to click. But if you want to support small businesses, this is what I tell people. Take the 2 or 3 minutes and fill out the information and order directly from the business, not through Amazon. This is really the key to everything that's happening in our society right now. We're so lazy and so we need immediate gratification, and we need everything fast. And so because of that because of the convenience, we've cut out all the people that are actually doing the work. But for the speed of having whatever we want that we actually don't need that fast, we're cutting out the people that actually produce the product. So think about it the next time you swipe. You have to sort of just be purposeful and intentional when we're supporting businesses, because if you're doing it through any other website other than the business's website, you're cutting a lot of their profits out and also making it harder for them to sustain themselves. Because I order on Amazon too, but you have to understand they're not creating anything. They're just getting it to you faster. So let's just think about that next time we order stuff. That's all.
Yeah, I like that. That's another good PSA.
Yeah.
And like
PSA.
Actual PSA.
If you
has
really
value.
care, buy the song. If you really care,
Yeah.
spend $1.50, buy that song. Buy the album. Purchase it. I just saw something. People are playing AI versions of great songs now. Yeah, like Sinatra. They're doing AI because they don't want to pay the licensings. I refuse. Like, this is something. We find out who it is. Any restaurant, you gotta go online. You gotta give them a review, and you gotta 1-star them and say why. Because you have to put people on blast who are undermining artists and our way of life. Because I don't want derivatives of something wonderful. I want the original, you know?
Yeah. And you, this is the total wrap up, but you are an original. And I appreciate you for that.
I like that.
You're an original.
I like that.
How are people on set with you, by the way? Are they surprised by who you are?
Well, most people don't know who I am.
Oh, so you don't, of you?
No, we all, we have like an evil. We had like me and Asif and Katya, we were extremely close and very, like Kurt. We all were very unusually close for a cast.
Okay.
And Kings, I've worked with the Kings for 15 years.
Robert
It's been a wonderful experience. So that in and of itself is unique. Just to having a long-term relationship with people that you work with so long. So that's not the norm.
Yeah.
So, but normally I just, people don't know much about me because I don't give much.
You should though. You have so much. Like you're fascinating.
Yeah, but as you probably know, it's exhausting because I'm also like I'm an introvert. So more like a neurodivergent. I enjoy spending time, like you and I could talk forever. And we're still giving energy. Some people you talk to, it is they're sucking.
Yeah.
You're exhausted.
Yes.
You're exhausted. You're like I gotta get out of here. This person, yeah.
But when you have it and then you are with somebody who also has it, it's good stuff.
It's good stuff.
I love it. Thank you for this.
Thank you for having me.
Loved it.